Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Why are you here? People come to events for two reasons: to learn from great content and to socialize with people. But TechCrunch has 10 million readers, and there's only 5,000 people here. Where are the other 900,000 people? Well, they could live stream, in which case people can learn from great content, but they can't socialize. They could host a webinar. People can learn from great content, but they can't socialize. Or maybe even a Reddit AMA. People can learn from great content, but they can't socialize. The world is missing a product that gives the two benefits of why we are all here at this event online. Enter Teooh, a platform for virtual events. You appear inside of a venue. This is my avatar that I customized. As you can see, I have blue hair. You appear inside of that venue with hundreds of other people, just like is here today. All of these people are actually controlled by someone in real life. You can move around and actually talk to people, just like you're going to plan on doing today. And now I'm going to show you what it feels like to be on the virtual TechCrunch Disrupt stage. Pretty nerve-wracking. And right here, you'll see we'll get some audience love. Perfect. We've been working with some great communities. Companies like Startup Grind. They have 2 million entrepreneurs across 600 cities and no way to bring them together into the same room. With Teooh, now they can. We've been working with esteemed people like Tim Draper to host his virtual alumni reunions for Draper University. Those alumni span across 50 countries, and he has no way to bring them into the same room. With Teooh, now they can. We've hosted so many cool events. We've had live podcasts hosted in our event platforms. We've had events about mental health in the workplace, where people appear and talk about the issues that they're dealing with. This is a really important thing for us to do. What's really, really unique is that people are staying inside of our app sometimes for 3, 4 hours. It's very similar to a real event. As you can see here, the event starts at 7 p.m., and just like a real event, people start to filter in around 6 o'clock. The panel begins at 7, it lasts until 8 p.m., and then for the next few hours, people actually socialize, moving around and talking to real people that might not even be in the same country where you live, creating connections that you could never create otherwise. What's great about virtual events is that there's already a massive market offline. $62 billion are spent on event sponsorship alone, and that doesn't include tickets. The way that we make money as a company is by charging organizations a monthly fee to have access to our venues, and then we also take a percentage of ticket sales and virtual sponsorship. If you're interested to host an event with us, if you are currently hosting webinars, if you're currently hosting real events, go to this address, apply to be in our next batch of communities that we work with, and we would love to help connect your community, your distributed community. Thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to questions.
Judges.
So how's this different from Second Life and some of the previous incarnations of VR? And if it's the fact that it's for conferences specifically, what is your moat? What is unique about the fact that you're doing it?
Yeah. So Second Life in 2007 had its heyday. There was actually a big trend back in 2007 around virtual events. The unique difference is a few things. One, the mobile phone. So Second Life was not able to scale to the mobile phone. We have a good percentage of our attendees that obviously join from their mobile device. There's also a lot of things that have changed from a technical perspective, things like Unity. So you before couldn't spin up a company like this for a fairly capital efficient manner. There's things like Improbable. They help enable virtual worlds. And so there's a lot happening on that ecosystem. What differentiates us from other platforms out there is that we do all of our spatialization in the cloud. And my CTO and co-founder, John, can talk about essentially how we're doing that by sending one up and multiple down.
Yeah, essentially, rather than sending up one stream and hundreds down, we do all the spatialization in the cloud, so we know which way the faces are looking, we know whereabouts they are in the virtual space, and that way we're able to scale beyond typical limits, so sort of 250 upwards. Our objective really is unlimited scale to do 125,000 arenas because of that technology, because you're not limited by the physical horsepower of the client machines, it's because it's all done remotely.
Yeah, so because we spatialize in the cloud, we can scale to numbers like 250,000 people in a virtual event. What we're doing as a company is setting that as one of our milestones.
Because it's a tech moat. It's not necessarily a community moat or the fact that people are signed up to the platform. It's the fact that nobody else can do it at scale like you can.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons. I think every great company has little moats as well. So I come from a background of event hosting and community building. So I definitely relate to the people that I'm pitching with. And obviously, John comes from a background of VR, avatars. He spent 20 years in gaming. So the two of us together, virtual and community, are a nice fit.
Awesome.
I think this is a great thing for the planet, right? And I think virtual conferences are coming. There's no doubt about it. And it's also,
thank you,
from what I understand, an extremely lucrative business model for you guys. But I still have a question around the scalability of, I think I've tried to figure out how many users you had per stream, and it's not that many. So how can you scale the user base? Is that your responsibility or a company like Startup Grind? Because you need to get this out at mass scale, right?
So we think of our partners as the external brand, not so much us in the sense that Startup Grind is trusted by 2 million entrepreneurs, right? And so when they send out a newsletter with a link to join one of their virtual Teoohs, then people already trust their brand. We've been doing controlled tests with the community so far. So Startup Grind, they have an Accelerate program internally out of the 2 million people. That's about 40 of their top entrepreneurs. That's who we've been working with. They actually have their next event tonight. And that's another great thing about what we've done. We've seen people repeatedly come back and host more events. So one of the organizations has now hosted, over the last 6 weeks, probably an event a week. Startup Grind has their next event tonight, and we're seeing that pattern across all of the communities we're working with.
What's your insight in terms of facilitating a virtual event with avatars versus a video-based event?
It's a key question. So social anxiety is real. People hate to stand on stage and talk. People are very anxious when they go into a room full of people they don't know. And it's even weirder when you're video chatting with somebody that you don't know and that's randomized. There are platforms that exist that are out there right now. I've tried them. I'm a fairly social person, and I get awkwarded out when a random person appears in front of me, and all of a sudden I'm looking into their kitchen. So avatars lower the social anxiety, and it also allows, because there's less social anxiety, for events like mental health in the workplace, where people are coming and telling us about real things that are really hard to talk about in person. So avatars versus video, we lower social anxiety.
Do people need some specialized hardware to use it? Is that an impediment?
Any device, anywhere. So it works on mobile phone, computer, web, and also VR headsets, but focusing on the mobile device for now.
Okay, awesome.
I'll come back to my favorite ask question. What's your biggest struggle? What do you need the most right now?
Say that again, please.
What do you need the most? What's your ask?
We want access to really large event organizations that are interested to be forward-thinking and push the envelope here. That is the most important thing to us. I know a lot of companies are raising. We have great investors from San Francisco, like General Catalyst and other people along those lines. So what we're really hoping for are access to the top event companies in the world.
All right, give it up for Teooh.
Thank you so much. Thank you.